This update is coming as police are trying to looking for new ways to prevent that trouble. They're restricting ride shares downtown when they think that large groups will be gathering.
A few moments later.
There's a demand for action after a street takeover on Chicago's north side. Take a look at this cell phone video.
We are back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, people. You know it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you this content. Now, y'all, here is your boy, Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago. Y'all know we've been covering Mayor Johnson because of the migrant situation and how he spent all the city's money on the migrants. He got rid of Shot Spotter, which we're going to get to, y'all. That's going to be at the end. If y'all want to see something very interesting, how Chicago is looking at possibly becoming a draconian hellhole. Forgive me, all my Chicago people, but they're looking at putting y'all under basically mass surveillance. That's going to come at the end. But for now, let's take a look at how Mayor Johnson is looking to potentially lay people off and cut services, in large part, according to my opinion, because of the hundreds of millions of dollars that Johnson spent so that he could call his city a welcoming city. So currently, Chicago has a $1.12 billion budget shortfall and is looking at possibly losing $3 billion more in federal funds because of that welcoming city thing. That's just, in my opinion, ununderstandable. And now Mayor Brandon Johnson is cracking the door open to the prospect of layoffs and service cuts that he previously ruled out. See, this is how these politicians do, y'all. They take your money, they give it to somebody else, then they lay you off. Think about that. Quote, "We will have to deal with the realities of the billions of dollars that are being threatened by the federal government. That's a different scenario than we were under before." Think about that, y'all. He's blaming the federal government for taking your money and giving it to people who don't even have permission to be in the country. Quote, "But I am confident that the collective groups of the city of Chicago will stand firm in our values to ensure that we are investing in people. But we also have to make serious considerations based on the Trump takeover." Y'all, this dude, it's disappointing, y'all. It's disappointing because this is a talking point mayor, right? Like, he literally he won't break the script. He won't go rogue. He won't get out there and do what he has to do for his people. It's disappointing. It's disappointing, y'all. So, y'all, they're looking at cutting your services in Chicago. I'm sad to hear about that. This is just as the warm months are coming, and everybody probably in the country knows what happens in Chicago during the warm months. Let's take a look, y'all. In case you don't know what a teen takeover is, first let's get some context with this news report. Then we're going to take a look at this most recent teen takeover from just overnight.
And you may remember those teen takeovers, specifically one that happened in Streeterville a couple of weeks ago where a 15-year-old was shot. Chicago police now say they've arrested a 14-year-old in connection with that shooting.
Here's some of the video from that night. This update is coming as police are trying to looking for new ways to prevent that trouble. They're restricting ride shares downtown when they think that large groups will be gathering. And aldermen are also talking about changing the downtown curfew. That's on the agenda tomorrow. Our political reporter Marianne Ahern is here with more on this big talker everywhere. Marianne.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon to both of you. This past weekend, the city says it did prevent 2 of 3 planned takeovers by teens using a variety of tactics, including this new tool, geofencing. With Chicago police approval, Uber and Lyft sends notifications restricting riders from entering a zone the police are watching closely. The rider can skip the warning, but as for that curfew, the mayor is not a yes just yet. But Alderman Brian Hopkins, he's not giving up.
A 14-year-old shot a 15-year-old on the streets of downtown. I don't see how anyone could hear that and not realize we must act.
Teen takeovers like this one a little over 2 weeks ago has had Mayor Brandon Johnson and Chicago police strategizing to prevent future incidents. Besides a much larger police presence that was seen this past weekend in locations teens plan to gather at, this past Friday night, there were rideshare restrictions warning riders not to come downtown.
So there you have an idea what a teen takeover is. They send the word out over social media. They all descend on a particular area. They go crazy. Sometimes, or way too often, violence ensues. People get shot. Not all the time, right? But that does tend to happen. And it's just crazy, right? And Mayor Johnson's constituents have basically blamed him because he is the person who directs the police. He's supposed to be the person maintaining law and order in Chicago. And he has been very reluctant to crack down on these teen takeovers and do what is necessary for these teen takeovers to become a thing of the past. Let's take a look at the teen takeover from just overnight last night. This is some cell phone footage that was presented on Chicago News today.
There's a demand for action after a street takeover on Chicago's north side. Take a look at this. Cell phone video captures the chaotic scene early this morning at Ashland and Diversey in Lakeview. In daylight, you can see the skid marks left behind. We received a number of complaints from people in the neighborhood. A viewer shared this video showing cars doing donuts as fireworks go off. Another neighbor told us he wants Mayor Brandon Johnson to take action.
I think he's too lenient. I think he needs to start being more aggressive with what's going on. I think he needs to add more police to the city, have them start doing something instead of just doing what they can. And I think they need to start nipping it and, actually holding people accountable for their actions.
Well, the video shows officers responding to the scene, sending people running. But Chicago police tell us they have no information about the incident tonight.
So here you have your mayor. If you're a Chicagoan, you have your mayor who's, one, giving all of your money to people who don't have permission to be in the country. There's no way that this is an organic thing that an intelligent person believes is a good idea, okay? When you're talking about, you have people paying taxes, you have people who voted for you, and then you have people who aren't even guests, who snuck in. Now, again, I've always said I favor providing people with life-saving services. I don't think people should have to sleep out in the cold. I don't think we should let people starve. But I'm talking about the basics, the most basics. Other than that, you're gonna have to fend for yourself, And we definitely are working with the federal government when it comes to if they need information on people who snuck in. Yeah, we're working with them. That's just my opinion. Now, continuing. So you have cuts to your services. You have a mayor who, due to perhaps having been a teacher, and in a lot of these kids, he sees like pupils that he thinks he can save. So he's going maybe easy on them. He wants them to grow and flourish. He's just not ready to take the tough hand with them. And on top of that, you have the budget cuts that come from all of the failed policies. At this point, Chicago is, I'm sorry, y'all, but it's very close to becoming a failed city for many of its residents. I know some of y'all are over there living the high life. You have your money. You have your nice little secluded area where you can feel safe. But for a lot of Chicagoans, it certainly looks like they're living in a bit of a failed city, y'all. So let's get into this shot spotter situation. This is show you how draconian things could possibly become very soon in Chicago, y'all. Take a look at this.
Next Friday's the final deadline for companies to submit pitches to the city for new gunshot detection tools after the controversial ShotSpotter system was dismantled. The I-Team obtaining early information on 15 pitches, including one from ShotSpotter itself, some of which involved drone technology and artificial intelligence.
I canceled ShotSpotter.
Now the arduous process of finding a possible alternative, something ABC 7 police affairs consultant Bill Kushner says is a necessity.
The department needs every help it can get.
15 company pitches obtained by the I-Team have been submitted thus far to the city, including some sparking serious backlash from privacy advocates. Some include Skydio, based out of California. It proposes using a network of drones as first responders for aerial intelligence before ground units arrive. It says the company would install 37 weatherproof dock and hive locations to cover the entire city, but the list of where those docks would be located is redacted. Blue Hammer, based out of Florida, proposes leveraging a, quote, powerful AI deep learning neural network platform called Torrent AI, which it says can process large amounts of data, including images and video from live camera feeds, with a claim that technology could provide, quote, vetted confirmation within 60 seconds of an incident to police. Attorney Hannah Zhao from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a digital privacy nonprofit, says some of these proposals amount to a surveillance state.
I can understand the argument that it is helpful for policing, but lots of tools are helpful for police. I bet that the Big Brother system in 1984 would be super helpful because it surveils everyone, but I don't think that's the kind of state we want to live in.
Gull Systems, based in the U.S., is proposing another AI-powered solution with a full technology package, including AI anomaly detection with real-time vehicle and suspect tracking, as well as a drone network.
I don't know if we should really trust that it can interpret these really complex situations.
And ShotSpotter has also submitted a proposal claiming its technology alerted CPD to over 10,000 shooting victims in the last 6 years. Its pitch was more heavily redacted than others, while several other companies have proposed acoustic sensor technology similar to the one deployed by ShotSpotter.
They can integrate gunshot detection technology into their camera system. That's priceless.
Now, it is worth noting that any drone technology that police surveillance proposals would be a near non-starter at this point because Illinois law strictly limits law enforcement use of drones. Of course, we're going to have a full list of those pitches for you to look at right on our website, abc7chicago.com, once this story is posted.
So now I'd like to hear from you, whether you're in Chicago or not, y'all. This is just, it makes me sad, frankly, because certain things seem difficult. You know, teen violence, it seems difficult once it's entrenched. It seems like a difficult problem, right? Giving teens something to do, giving them hope, giving them an outlook when they don't have it, that seems like it could be tough, right? I'm sympathetic to anybody who's out there trying to do that and having a tough time with it. It seems like it'd be tough. But what to do with the budget? What to do you spend it on the people who are your constituents, or do you give it all to others? I mean, that doesn't seem like a difficult question at all. So anyway, I'd like to hear what y'all have to say. Please drop a comment down below, but before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the social mediums. You know that we appreciate y'all. So if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.